Welcome to the Joy to the World podcast. Each day during December, we will explore together passages from the Bible that teach us about God's joy in this world, His Son, Jesus Christ. Make sure you subscribe to whichever platform you get your podcasts from, or listen on our YouTube channel by searching for Annalong Presbyterian Church.
Day 1, John chapter 1, verses 1 to 5, read from the English Standard Version. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it.
It's safe to say that 2020 will go down as a year we will never forget. So much has been expected of us as we have isolated, queued, quarantined, homeschooled and socially distanced. Any plans we had for this year had to change at short notice or had to be cancelled completely. Weddings, funerals, anniversaries, birthdays, house moves, exams, business activity were all impacted by a coronavirus we knew nothing about this time last year. This year has taught us so much about ourselves. It has taught us how resilient we can be when faced with difficulty, how caring and loving we can be to our neighbours and friends, and how creative we can be to keep ourselves and our families entertained. But it's also been a time that has shown us the not so good parts of our lives, our frustrations, tempers, backchat, and judgments on others not adhering to restrictions. Without a doubt, this past year has shown us the best of ourselves and the worst. And perhaps we have surprised ourselves at times by how anxious and angry we have been, allowing disappointment to take hold and consume our lives. It turns out that these emotions are nothing new. We have probably experienced them in the past, and the generations that have gone before us have experienced them also with each difficult season they faced. This was exactly the world into which God sent His Son Jesus. It was a world at boiling point. Rome was in charge and ruled with an iron fist from the imperial capital. Anyone who stepped out of line was quickly dealt with. Any rebellion was quashed as Rome continued its march across the known world. But in the midst of the darkness, sorrow and pain, a light shone in the darkness. The opening words of John's Gospel show us the uniqueness of Jesus Christ. He was the light that would come into the world to show it a better way, God's way. His light would call out into the darkness so that we would know Him as good and trust Him as our Saviour. This was and is good news for us. We've not been abandoned to the pandemic of 2020. God has given us His Son so that He can be our joy as we trust in Him to see us through whatever we face. As we begin these podcasts, focus on Christ and know that no matter how dark our world may seem, He is the light and the darkness will not overcome Him. Thank you for listening to this Joy to the World podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts from so that you can receive this directly every day. And also, if you're listening on YouTube, do subscribe and click that bell icon so that you too can be notified when each episode is available.